Let's do this!
All throughout Wolverine's vast Marvel Comics history, it's been shown that the feral mutant has a huge family, and while most of them deserve their space in the spotlight, many have ended up being ignored. Therefore, in today's video, we've decided to take a look at 10 of the most undervalued members of Wolverine's family that Marvel consistently overlooks. Are you ready? Let's find out who they are. But before we go into our explanation, we do have one very tiny request. If you like our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Now let's begin. Mariko Yashida, Wolverine's fiancée. True, Mariko Yashida is not directly related to Wolverine, but there's no denying that Wolverine's feelings for Mariko were pure and sincere in the truest sense. Wolverine first met Mariko in Japan at her cousin Sunfire's estate, where the X-Men had briefly put up while attempting to get home from the Savage Lands. Safe to say that Wolverine got attracted to the daughter of the Japanese crime lord the instant he met her, and what followed eventually was the duo indulging in a very romantic relationship. Mariko was simultaneously bound to fulfill her familial obligations and carry ahead her father's legacy. While the short-lived leader of Clan Yashida became engaged to Wolverine and was all set to marry the man whom she dearly loved, tragedy struck when she was fatally poisoned by the hand assassin, Matsuo Surayaba. Of course, Mariko did not want to face a prolonged, painful death, and she begged Wolverine to kill her, which he did so reluctantly. Which he did reluctantly. We're looking at an accomplished businesswoman, swordswoman, and leader who became quite a force in the Japanese criminal underworld. The fact that she got engaged to Wolverine and became his fiancée effectively makes her part of the Wolverine family, but sadly, Mariko Yashida has largely been forgotten by Marvel. Victor Hudson. Believe us when we say that this first cousin of Wolverine was destined to be ignored by Marvel. Victor Hudson was taken under the wing of the mysterious ancient mutant Romulus, who asserted his lineage as one of the Lupine. Victor was born blind and mute, a disability that Romulus saw as an asset from the very beginning. Therefore, Romulus tortured Victor immensely while raising him, knowing that even under extreme pain, Victor would not be able to reveal any of his secrets, as Victor was incapable of speaking. With time, Victor became the perfect, unbreakable henchman of Romulus. While Victor's berserker strength and superhuman level of durability particularly make him a formidable opponent to his cousin Wolverine, it's also true that he isn't exactly a long-running character such as Daken or even X-23 for that matter. The solitary fact that Victor Hudson is from a specific storyline makes him all the more obscure, and he continues to remain a distant cousin to Wolverine. John Howlett Jr. While the character of John Howlett never really made an appearance in the origin comics, he happened to be the first son of John Howlett Sr. and Elizabeth Howlett. This naturally made him Wolverine's elder brother, who, in all probability, was also born a mutant. While it is true that the circumstances of John's death remain a mystery throughout the comics, the fact that Elizabeth had these huge claw-like slashes on the back of her body suggested that John had attacked his mother at some point prior to his death. Also, as per the dates engraved on his gravestone, John was around 12 years old when he passed away. The character's storyline was expanded in an alternate universe of Earth 4011 in Wolverine the End, which divulged that John, in a fit of rage, had attacked his mother upon discovering her affair with Thomas Logan. John was put away in a mental asylum by his grandfather and even became one of the first Weapon X experiments. Decades later, John encountered Wolverine and tried to convince him to join him in a life of villainy and riches. Of course, Wolverine declined and ultimately killed John, thereby making the end of John Howlett's short-lived time in the Marvel Universe. Reine Durienne. Reine Durienne was born as a result of an intimate encounter that sorceress Sylvie Darkness indulged in with Wolverine back in Paris. Naturally, as the duo's daughter, Reine inherited key attributes from both her parents. This means that in addition to her mother's magical skills, she also possessed mutant abilities, including the ability to heal herself and retractable bone claws that mysteriously had this blue glow when projected. The fact that Reine was also a member of the clan Darkness gave her the ability to do sorcery, and dare we disregard her ability to create portals? It goes without saying that Reine's magical potential was vast, and that made her incredibly deadly, especially when combined with her mute physiology. So if you ask us, it's pretty sad that the French daughter of Wolverine couldn't really make much of a splash in the Marvel Universe. Reyes, son of Wolverine and Mystique, on Earth 13729. The mutant son of Mystique and Wolverine grew up hating his mother to such an extent that he not only killed her, but also posed as her for a while by resorting to his shape-shifting abilities. Reyes was eventually located by his half-brother, Charles Xavier II, who also had plans of tracking down Mystique and harming her, as Mystique had given him away right at birth after she felt that she was not ready to raise him. The two brothers, upon discovering that they were connected to each other, made up their minds to work jointly, and if you ask us, that's exactly how the future Brotherhood was formed. In terms of his power, it's fitting to state that Reyes has all the abilities of Wolverine and Mystique. In fact, his shape-shifting powers are more enhanced, which makes them a lot more powerful than his mother's. Add to this Wolverine's ferocity and those claws, and you have someone who should not be treated lightly under any circumstance. Yet, the character has time and again been forgotten by Marvel, leaving fans to wonder why. Gunhawk. It's quite a possibility that William Downing, more popularly known as Gunhawk, was not aware that Wolverine was his father. William was recruited by his half-brother Daken to be used as a weapon against his very own father. The Red Light Hand, which was a highly powerful criminal organization, trained William to become an efficient assassin and carry out their vendetta against Wolverine. It was only after his rigorous and extensive training was over that William took the name of Gunhawk. It's safe to admit that Gunhawk was undoubtedly a skilled strategist and an excellent team leader, possessing exceptional martial arts and other fighting skills. However, despite being an intriguing character, he sank into obscurity after he died post failing to kill Wolverine. Dog Logan. Well, here is a classic case of a friendship gone terribly wrong. The son of the Howlett Estate groundskeeper initially happened to be one of Wolverine's first friends, and while he at first maintained a strong and loving relationship with Wolverine and the latter's orphaned companion Rose, Dog eventually started adapting his drunken father's abusive ways. In fact, there was a time when he had developed feelings for Rose, but instead of exhibiting them, he forced himself on her. This was one of the primary reasons why Dog's father was fired by John Howlett Sr. The eventual revelation of Elizabeth Howlett's affair with Thomas Logan not only altered Wolverine's life trajectory, but it also took quite a toll on Dog. A young Wolverine ended up severely scarring Dog's face when his mutant powers manifested for the first time. Post the events, Dog was adopted by Old Man Howlett as his ward and heir, and he grew up on the estate. But with Howlett Sr. eventually lying on his deathbed, he attempted to make amends with his grandson and therefore asked Dog to locate Wolverine and get him back. Dog misinterpreted things entirely, because this whole time he had been waiting to take his revenge on Wolverine, whom he blamed completely for his father's death. So, while Dog was successful in tracking Wolverine down, he did so simply to settle scores with him. What ensued was a battle between the duo, which tragically ended on Wolverine's part, with him accidentally killing Rose in the process. It is true that Dog Logan has had multiple confrontations with Wolverine throughout their shared history, but sadly, he was never really that interesting as a character, and that's why Marvel stopped paying attention to him. If you think otherwise, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Akihiro. Die-hard fans of Wolverine are bound to remember how Itsu Akihiro, during her final stages of pregnancy, was murdered by the brainwashed Winter Soldier. As for the baby, he was literally ripped from his mother's womb. Now, to everyone wondering how the baby survived, well, Akihiro did so chiefly because of the healing ability that he inherited from his father, Wolverine. After his mother's brutal death, Akihiro was left on the doorstep of a wealthy Japanese couple who didn't have any children. Akihiro was nicknamed by the neighbors as Daken because of his mixed heritage. While Daken clearly loved his adopted father, Akihira, he often received harsh treatment from his adopted mother, Natsumi, so much so that things escalated to a level where Natsumi triggered Daken's mutant ability and he ended up killing her. As for Akihira, he was unable to force himself to hurt Daken and he ended up committing suicide. Daken often blamed Wolverine for abandoning him, for his mother's death, and let's not disregard his extremely traumatic childhood. No wonder he sought revenge against Wolverine. Not only did he become a member of the Dark Avengers and the Brotherhood of Mutants, but he even went to the whole extent of becoming a Horseman of Death. It was years later, after his stints as a supervillain, that he reformed himself as a superhero, made peace with his father, and eventually earned the title of Fang, primarily for his acts of heroism. Jimmy Hudson. James Jimmy Hudson Jr.'s entire existence is tied to Earth 1610, or should we say the Ultimate Marvel Universe, which was a modern reimagining of the classic Marvel characters. While introducing him as the son of Wolverine and Magda Lenser certainly made him a fascinating character, it did separate him from the main Earth 616 storyline. When the Ultimate Universe was destroyed in the Secret Wars event, Jimmy Hudson was relocated to the main universe. While there is no denying that Jimmy did work with the original X-Men for a while and had a few adventures, it's safe to admit that Marvel has almost forgotten about him since then. Gabby Kinney. Gabriel Gabby Kinney happens to be an unmodified clone of Laura Kinney and a creation of Alchemax genetics, which in turn makes her a grand clone of Wolverine. Raised to be a deadly assassin just like her father and sister, Gabby endured abuse at the hands of Alchemax for a long time until she, along with her sisters, rebelled against the corporation. Mind you, we're looking at a living weapon, one who is incapable of feeling any form of pain due to the nanites integrated into her body by Alchemax. Lately, Gabby has only been adding to the X-Men canon in small ways, showing up in the corner of a page to let fans know that she's still around. Truth be told, Gabby has been forgotten by Marvel, and there are no second thoughts about it. Marvelous verdict. Well, with this, we've finally come to the end of our video here. So, which one amongst the ones mentioned do you think is the most underappreciated member of Wolverine's family? We would love to know what you feel in the comment section below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please do leave a thumbs up and stay tuned with us as we promise to come back with more exciting content. Till then, goodbye, and thanks for watching. Have a nice one.